Here, so let's stop for a second because I think that your voice is coming through your earbud, and that's why
Oh
Kevin's not
shit.
being picked up. I don't think it's picking up your Yeti mic because your hair movement is popping the mic.
Oh fuck. Okay, hold on, let's see. You're right.
Yeah,
No.
that's why it's not coming through.
I had it right on the Mac side, but then when it okay, now Kevin, say something.
Hello?
Oh my god.
Oh
It's like the voice of
no.
angels. It's fine. It's fine. I can normal because I'm gonna cut this part out. I can normalize it and then it'll just pick up
Uh-huh.
from here. Yeah. But I was like, because you couldn't, I mean, you could hear Kevin. I'm gonna have to pot him up, but in post. But I was like, I was like, what in the
Fuck.
world? Fucking speak up, ass.
You're listening to Mating Habits of the Modern Geek, advice on love and dating within your own species. Are you having trouble finding that perfect geeky match? Do you need dating tips or relationship advice? If the answer is yes, you've come to the right place. I'm your host, Kelly Hightower, and in this podcast, we'll discuss the issues, answer your questions, and give you the skills you need to help you become better at dating.
Hello, and welcome to episode 127 of Mating Habits of the Modern Geek. I'm your host, Kelly Hightower. And today, if you're a Patreon member, you get to see that we have Paris and the business together. It's a dream come true.
We did it.
You guys should cheer or something. As excited as I am. So, I will say this at the start so I don't forget. Mating Habits of the Modern Geek is a proud member of the Geek to Geek Media Network. You can join the Patreon at patreon.com/matinghabits. I see here someone has put, we've got a new unofficial book club, which I think it's official. It has its own channel now.
Well, I didn't know it because you're not doing it. So anything really mating habits related that is
Right.
outside of you is not official.
Well, I will
So-
get. I'll deem it. I'll deem it official because thank gosh y'all have found each other because both you and Roger try to make me read books without kissing in it, and I flat out refuse.
There might be kissing in this book. I've not gotten to it yet. It might be just a slow burn.
Okay, like 450 pages in, someone kisses someone goodbye, and then
450 pages of nonfiction about
yeah,
about the history of humankind.
yeah,
Somebody, I mean, there has to be fucking in it eventually. That's how we get more humans.
it is how you get more people.
Yeah.
A lot
So
of subtext.
there's subtext. You got to read between the lines.
I'm not trying to read thousands of pages for a lot of fade to blacks. That's not what I do.
If you apply the Bible code to it, the word kissing will appear.
Okay, well,
What is the Bible code?
It's the thing that makes you be able to look at the Bible and go, the world is definitely going to end whenever I say it is.
well,
What?
like a apocalypse cult.
Yeah, that's the thing they always use to like look at the Bible and go, oh, the Bible code told me it was going to end in like 2035 when like the past 15 Bible cults have been like, it was going to end in 1987.
Are we saying Bible code or Bible cult?
Both words.
Both.
He
words.
said code first, and then I brought up cult.
Okay. I was very confused. Okay, so right now we're reading Sapien, A Brief History of Humankind.
Oh yeah, that's Bible code. Apply some Bible code to that, you are definitely going to find some
Next, we
serious-
will be reading the King James Version of the Bible.
Why not?
Some of the filth in the King James Version of the Bible, if you're not reading it for the apocalypse and you're just reading it for the fanfic, the Ezekiel Moses stuff, pretty top tier.
Chef's kiss. But I thought you guys said you were reading nonfiction books.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Wow.
I know,
Somebody
that's-
out there is hurting.
I know it's offensive. I'm sorry.
What? Are you really? Oh wait, this is the apology tour. Go ahead. Let's do
okay.
apology.
So we're how many minutes in? I, Kelly Hightower, would like to apologize for making light of whatever your religious beliefs are. It was not. I mean, it was my intent, but now upon reflection, I can see where that might have hurt some feelings, which was not my intent.
It was my intent though. So.
So, Neil, you'll have to start a podcast where you apologize all the time, or you probably won't. You'll be like, nah.
I'm never gonna apologize. I mean everything I say.
I meant it.
Geneva's podcast will be as soon as you download it, it wipes your hard drive.
Vindictive. I hate you.
A list of names.
turns your printer on, prints out just the word fuck on all your pieces of paper, sends all your porn to your mom, whatever it is.
Oh,
That's see, this is why. So Roger brought up, somebody brought up in the Discord like D&D alignment charts,
yes.
and
It
this
was
is
Roger.
why Kevin says that I'm to him lawful evil, but to the world, what was the other one? Chaotic good,
Probably, yes.
probably. You
I
were
would
like,
say
"But-
lawful evil all the way.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
all lawful evil.
lawful
I
evil.
mean,
Yeah,
it's a hard cross that I bear because I am lawful good.
you are. It is a great
That's why you guys.
relationship.
That's why you guys have lasted so long.
We got laws. Is the
Right.
reason.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm telling
Rules. You'll
you.
follow the rules.
There are plenty of that's a pretty good crossover. I mean, it could be chaotic evil, which I don't fucking know how their societies even stay in place. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
like if a couple was one was chaotic good and one was chaotic evil.
No, because they're both chaotic. They just
No,
gotta
G-
do what.
G is very specific about who she hates,
And there
and
you
it
go.
Yeah.
and is very much just I hate them,
Yeah.
and therefore I will always hate them. And there you go.
There's no redeeming qualities. Actually, that's not true. So I actually hate most people I meet first off. Like
Yes.
everyone's first impression to me is just ends up, oh, I hate them. And it takes me a very long time to warm up. So
Mhm.
like I'm gonna name drop Will.
Yeah. No, I know.
So I,
I told him. I said she likes you now.
yeah, no, I just at the start I was like, man, he's annoying. Won't stop talking about magic. I'm done with this. And then like I talked to him a little bit longer and just kept going. And I'm like, oh wait, I like Will. He's fine. I
Yeah.
like him. He's funny.
By the way, shout out to Will.
Shout out to Will.
This early on in the podcast, we've already mentioned Will.
I had to get it in.
You did. Thank you.
Yeah.
'Cause I'd
You're
forgotten. Yeah, I
So
was gonna
it-
bring it up in the haps anyway.
Oh.
Because I'll get into my haps. I just got done like maybe an hour and a half ago with the Extra Life fundraiser stream. Our friend Bama, who was on the last Law Laughs, by the way. I mean, Daryl was on the last Law
I was like,
Laughs.
what?
So I know somewhere Roger's like, no, they're gonna catch on.
Yes, a carefully constructed scheme.
Right? We've only been doing this a year and a half. They're gonna figure it out. But no, it was most of the people from the Cautious Optimism crew. Bama from there was running it on his Twitch channel. He was the GM. We played fifth edition D&D. I played a ranger because of course I did, and it was fun. It was a module. I'm not used to modules. So there was a lot of, like, well, why don't we just go do this other thing? And then it's like having to remind me, like, no, it's a module. We kind of have to do the things that they need us to do to be able to advance the story. 'Cause I'm like, let's run off and join a circuit. Like, it was ridiculous. But
No, we don't have a circus in the module.
like, no, you have to go this one way. That's the way it is. So that's where we're going. But yeah, so we ended up raising $660 during the stream. And
How could I give an extra $6?
I mean, there's still time. The link is on all my social medias, and this is for everybody. There's still time if you want to donate something. It still goes to the Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and which is a good cause. Just because I don't have kids doesn't mean I want them to be sick. I just want their hands to be clean. So that was fun. But yes, luckily I played a character with very low charisma, so I did not have to do a whole lot of talking.
Ooh,
Yes, but
that's weird for you.
it was very weird for me. So I didn't do a lot of talking, but I did do a lot of secret discording of other people who were in the group, being like, "Can you believe we're doing?" Half of it was not talking crap, but just being like, "When are we going to get to this part, or when are we going to do whatever?" And then the other half of it was because it's a murder mystery of us figuring out who the murderer was secretly
Yeah.
amongst ourselves. Which
So,
Spoilers, it was an owlbear.
well, I was thinking, like, Kelly, you're actually a social rogue,
a little bit.
like with the back channeling.
That's right.
I just desperately want there like to be a murder mystery with like all of the D&D monsters, but like dressed up as regular people and trying to pretend that they're not like there's just a beholder with a giant hat on, being like, "Hello, I'm Miss Scarlet."
There's a
Wait,
rust
what the-
monster with a tray that just keeps
Yeah.
disappearing because it's metal. He keeps picking up other trays, like trying to be the butler. Poor thing.
Poor Rust
Poor,
Monster.
poor rust monster. But no, it was a lot of fun, and
That's
I got
awesome.
to play with a couple people I had never played with before.
Mhm.
So go check that out. It'll be on Bama Shocks. His I don't know if he'll keep it on his Twitch stream or it'll be on his YouTube channel. I don't know. Google it. You know, you people are smart. You got a podcast on your phone. You can figure that out. But I just realized I don't know if his Twitches go to a YouTube or not. I can't be forced to know everything.
What kind of friend are you, Kels?
I
What kind
know.
of friend?
Well, speaking of which, so you know, I did trivia in Oxford with the Oxford people a couple weeks ago. And we
Mhm.
rocked it. First place,
Yeah.
no problems. This week, trivia sucked. We got third place, which Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. And like, it was so like just it was a night of sadness. Like we just they had the weirdest categories. They had song lyrics, but then they would play a different song during the time you're supposed to think about the song lyrics. So you couldn't sing the song lyric.
no.
I'm like, well, she's
Oh,
coming here.
no.
There's salt in her eyes while we're trying to write down our answers. Like this, what kind of weird obstacle course trivia is this? So yeah, it was bad. And then the last category. So see if this would have pissed you off. The last category were airport codes, right? So you've got
Okay.
the three letter airport codes,
Uh-huh.
but it wasn't the city. It was what's the name of the airport,
Oh God.
right? So like you know, so they had the code for O'Hare. If
Mhm.
you knew it was Chicago, you couldn't just put Chicago. You had to put O'Hare International. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't just put
Oh.
O'Hare.
Wow.
And so some old airport guy knew all those questions and totally swept the category.
I actually probably would have done really good at that since a lot of weather stations are at airports and their call
You-
name is the
Right. It's you and the guy with the oxygen tank who was probably there at the ribbon cutting of opening of all of those airports. That's who would have gotten that category. The rest of us were fucked. We got nothing. We were like halfway through the end, we were like, this is stupid. We're not doing this anymore. And it's for charity. And it's good beers, but still the point is that
Mhm.
I'm mad at trivia. I might not do it again. I'm just kidding. I'll do it again. But the last bit of my haps, which is very exciting. Yesterday on a whim, I went and got TSA pre-check approved.
What?
So, and it came back today. Like the lady who took all my information, she said it's going to take a couple weeks. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, okay. And if you don't know, so TSA it's this thing called you get pre-check approved. You have to go to a site where licensed people take your fingerprints, and you got to bring like your passport and your driver's license, or two forms of picture ID. And then they fill out all the stuff, and then they do a background check on you. And if you pass, then you don't have to wait in line at the airport. You don't have to take off your shoes, take out your toiletries, any of that. You go to like a fast pass lane, like a speedy checkout to get
Mhm.
through the airport. And I love to fly. I hate to go through the airport. So it's like, I need to get this because I got my trip coming up in November. We're gonna be going to Vegas with Roger and all the Oxford people. And then after that, I'll be flying back out of Palm Springs after that weekend after I go visit Joe and Matt. And you know, I might, end up falling in love with somebody who lives very far away. I might need to go visit them on a plane often. So I said, TSA
Yeah.
pre-check's what I need. It's what I
Definitely.
need. So yeah, so they texted me today. So in less than 24 hours, I'm approved
You just go to like RDU or like
everywhere, international.
just,
They issue you, it's called a KTN number. And so
Okay.
when you buy airline tickets, you put your KTN number in and it puts on your
Mhm.
boarding pass. It's your pre-check.
pre-check.
So
Okay.
you go in
cool.
the first little kiosk where they do your ID, they
Mhm.
direct you to the cool people lane where
Mhm.
you can just get on the daggone plane. So you still have to x-ray your bag. And I think you still have to go through an x-ray,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you don't have
We've
to
gone
take everything off.
through pre with traveling with children. So
Uh-huh.
they will divert you because you got a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
And you'll just clog up the main lane.
Yeah.
And since pre is going by at a clip. they'll
Right,
put you over
exactly.
there. Mhm.
So I'm happy to have you there because I'm going to be going through, which will be good too because with all the COVID stuff and everything, I haven't flown since COVID, so I don't know how jacked up everything is, but I assume it couldn't have gotten better. So
No.
I imagine it only
Mm.
got worse. But Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention it, but look, I'm wearing my new feet fetish T-shirt.
Ooh.
It's got it's a little spell book because I played D&D today.
Oh god.
Feet
I was
fetish,
like,
F-E-A-T
Uh-huh.
fetish. It's a play on
Oh.
words. You're like, what?
I was just like, that doesn't spell feet. I didn't.
Ah! It smells a different kind of feet.
It's about the ASI. Fuck feet. It's about the
What's ASI?
ability score increase.
Oh. Ability score increase.
I've never heard that acronym.
Me neither.
Acronyms is another category of trivia. We did well on that one.
Oh.
Role playing game abbreviations.
No, not roll, but just regular abbreviations.
Oh.
Like radar and scuba
Or Geico.
or Geico. Whoa, that's cool. I did not know that
Mhm.
was an abbreviation.
It's an abbreviation, and they spelled it all with a uppercase G and a lowercase rest of the word, and
Mhm.
then later said here's the abbreviation, and I'm like, well, you misspelled it in the other one. It's
Well,
not
what
the
is
word.
it?
It's Government Employee Insurance Company.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, that's not right. Okay.
So, haha. Anyway, what have you guys been up to? That's my nerdy haps.
So to start off, we've made the worst decision that we could have possibly made to build marriage harmony in our household.
Mm.
And that is to play co-op Stardew Valley.
Yeah, it's great.
Ah.
Now I not only get yelled at about the chores I didn't do around the house, I get yelled about the chores that I didn't do with the game.
Yeah,
It's good times. Good times all around.
it really is. We've definitely fallen on our tasks. So because we don't have any cool games like Farming Simulator 2019.
That's right. Shout out to Farming Simulator.
So we have Stardew and Animal Crossing, and we can't really
Mhm.
play Animal Crossing together because we only have one Switch. But Stardew has a co-op version, and we started it up. Kevin was like, "Hey, let's do this thing," and then we play a couple of days. You go through, and like Stardew, for those who don't know, there's like the farming element, but then there's like a mining element and a fishing element, and like fighting monsters element.
Mhm.
And next thing we know, I'm out here watering the damn crops every day, and Kevin's fighting fucking monsters. We divided the chores along traditional gender roles. I was maintaining the homestead while he was off out there like bringing back shiny rocks and slime molds.
Well,
Like
I did do a lot of fishing.
you did do a lot of fishing. You work your rod very well.
Oh, hey. There we go.
So anyway,
Just gotta wait for the bobber to go down.
Oh my God. That made me
Is
think
that
about
what you're calling-
toilets. Gross.
that's what you call him, Bob.
That's Robert to you, madam.
So anyway, like I'll start like watering. I'll do my little watering can. You got to go through until you upgrade your watering can. You got to go through each little plot, each little strawberry plant, put your little water in. And so I'll yell, I'll be like, Kevin, you gotta fucking help me water before you go do anything with the monsters. And he goes, ugh. And he goes, so we water together. And you get to choose at the beginning if you want separate accounts or joint account.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, joint account, obviously, which is easier to get all the money from all the stuff. It was the worst. We should have had separate fucking accounts.
Yep.
Because I went and I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy these things. And I went to go buy it. And before I could hit purchase, he had purchased an upgrade to his weapon somewhere else and drained the account. And I was not able to buy seeds for future monies. Anyway, we have had a lot of fun, actually. It's been a lot of fun, but it's fun to argue about something that doesn't matter.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
because
Very low stakes.
very low stakes.
Right.
Very low stakes.
But she will never fucking restart a day.
We
She will fucking it
Why
doesn't
would you
matter if the
restart a
farm is on-
day?
right. So this is a
The
fundamental.
farm could be on fire. All of our animals could be dead. Like there could be just like pterodactyls pecking at our remains. She's like, we're not starting the fucking day.
So you could, like, if you fuck up and you're like, oh man, I just like sold all this stuff, you could just restart the day, and you start off you wake up in the morning and it's like it never happened. You know,
Right.
it's save scumming essentially. And
But
Kevin,
it saves at the end of every day, so you can't go back. So like,
Gotcha.
so
Gotcha.
it saves at the end of every day. So as soon as you finish the day, you
It's
can't
locked in.
go back.
yeah, and you also cannot save midday either. You have to always either finish out a day or that day's done and you have to start over at the beginning. I'm sorry, just hit you. So I care more. This is a philosophical divide that Kevin and I have. I care more about the time I spend in real life, IRL, and I don't like to like repeat or waste time. I just want to keep going ahead. I'm like, whatever. The thing that I'm doing is playing this game and making progress in this game, and
Right.
that's what I care about.
You're not letting perfection get in the way of great or good enough.
Correct. And
Yes.
Kevin, if he's like, oh shit, I didn't mean to sell that potato, which is worth 50 gold coins, which is nothing in this game. He's like, fuck, let's start the day over. And I'm like, God damn, over my dead body, we are not starting this day over. And so we started the day over something stupid. I forget what it was. We started day over. And then the next day I was like, oh, I just sold this cauliflower. Let's start this day over. And he's like, oh, okay. And we did it. And he just did it before I was able to be like, no, wait, I was joking. So we
Uh-huh.
having to start over another day. Anyway, so that's been a philosophical divide in our household.
Yeah.
Um,
You guys should definitely not play Farming Simulator together.
we're having a lot of fun. We're just focusing on the funny, contentious parts because the wholesome, like, I love making cantaloupes with you, hon, is like
Right.
not funny for the podcast.
Right,
So,
sure.
Yeah.
That's not podcast
Uh,
gold.
It's not podcast goals or gold. You said gold
Yeah.
or goals. And then the other thing we're doing together, we combined two of our haps, and then we each have a separate hap because
Okay.
we're independent people.
That's
as
the
is
kind of the topic of our main topic. Yeah.
of this show.
Yeah.
So I was in Atomic Empire, which is a local gaming store, with some real tall woman.
It
And-
was me. Spoiler plot twist. It was me.
what? And I bought a bunch of fucking magic decks.
Yes.
And Kevin and I have been playing them. And I've won every game.
Mhm,
Ah.
And it's been a lot of fun.
mhm.
Kevin wants to now play multi groups. Like he's like, let's invite other people.
So I have some sort of chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our monogamous magic relationship, we're now going to be in an open magic relationship.
Gonna branch out.
We're going to branch out.
Spice it up.
Focus too much on me.
Because I felt
Because if it's just me, you're like even if it's like 5 people at the table, you're like, what's Kevin doing? How can I screw Kevin over?
I promise not to do that.
You
next
do it
time.
all the time.
I might not.
And it leaves you vulnerable to other people, which is
does.
why I'm like, I want other people.
Wait, I
I can
dragged
see you
him
lying from
down.
over here. I can see you feeling, no, I won't do it.
I won't do it. I would never ever target you. I'm
I cast Fireball again.
just gonna. I can't cast it again unless I could, because in Commander you only get unless a copy. Okay. Anyway, there's a rules issue with what your joke was.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna need to call a judge over here.
Yeah, the judge. Hello, come here. Oh,
Can
man,
you come
I
here,
hate
please?
nerds that call the fucking judge. God,
I know.
just be cool.
Just be
Although I
cool.
did it at trivia the first time, so I can't. I'm one of those.
Well, you're a cop, so
That's
I'm just gonna
right.
put that out
Was it? Did someone ask which Dulles it was? Which Dulles brother?
No, but they did ask. They said, "What sort of milk goes into feta cheese?" And sheep's milk. Feta cheese is a sheep's milk cheese, and I know that because look at me. I know about cheeses. And so then they said it was goat, and I said, "You're fucking wrong." And I googled it, and then I forget. I don't know if it was. It may have been Roger who took it up there to show him because I didn't want to take it up there to show him, but I did look it up, and it said feta cheese is primarily a sheep's cheese. So they gave me the point, but they also gave the other team the point. And that same other team, there was a lady on that team that tried to fight me in the parking lot over sheep's cheese. So
Wow.
she's like, I've made feta cheese. You were wrong. I've made feta cheese. I've made it with my goat's milk. And I said, no, you made goat's milk feta cheese. You didn't make real feta cheese. And then I got in my car and drove away. Because I'm not catching a charge or going back to jail.
Not going back. I do like that Roger, even in his leisure time, has people do the research and then takes credit for it.
He takes it so seriously. He missed a lyrics question about Billy Joel. And the answer was Piano Man, and none of us knew it. And he did know it, but he didn't know it in time because they're pretty quick. And so then when it came up, he was like, he talked about Piano Man a good 45 minutes after that. Just like he was like, I should have known it. Like
It's
some,
Piano Man. There's a bunch of stuff in that song that's just like,
he felt bad. He felt like he should know. He should know. And what's funny is I didn't know any of that because they were all white people songs. I didn't know any of them. Like it was crazy. Like I knew the Garth Brooks song and that was it. Which none of the rest of them knew.
See, it wasn't TikTok songs, so you just didn't. You're like, no.
Right? I'm like, you got any Doja Cat? That's all I know right now. Billie Eilish, you got any of those?
I mean, imagine being at trivia. So, for people who maybe are listening for the first time, I'm a weather scientist. I'm a meteorologist, and I used to go to trivia, and we were like doing trivia, whatever, and we got to know the trivia guy like really well, and he knew what I did and everything, and he's like, "This round is going to be about weather," and he made hard eye contact with me, and I knew none of the answers because they were things like, "How much does a cloud weigh?"
Oh, that's not weather. That's general knowledge. That's not weather.
Right? And I'm like, what do you mean, how much does it weigh? And he's like, I'll give you multiple choice. Big number, even bigger number, or even bigger number.
Oh, punch in the face. That's the answer
I
to
was
that
like,
one.
I'm done.
So you can get a punch in the throat. Yeah, the first time we did Harry Potter trivia and I swept the category. So
That's nice.
I was on my high horse about it. And then I just got knocked out completely.
Oh.
But it is what it is. We'll go back to, so you got more haps.
One more hap. I got one more hap for me. I've been doing paint by number, which sounds lame.
No.
But it's been a lot of fun. I'm doing currently an artist, a rendition of a different artist's famous painting. So Starry Night by Van Gogh. Van Gogh. What do the Brits say? Like whenever I watch Doctor Who, I'm like, what are you saying?
They're saying Van Gogh. I think they're putting an F on the end of it.
Right? What's Brits saying? Kevin.
Van Gogh.
I don't know.
What are the Hey New Zealand? So I've got a
Hey.
huge new listening in it. Hey New Zealanders, Kiwis, tell us how you guys say it because that'll be the right way.
Because like in America we just say Van Gogh. Like
we're
Van
lucky
Gogh.
to be alive over here. We got no health care. Yeah, like let us say
anyway.
Van Gogh.
So anyway, Van Gogh. Well, I'm doing Starry Night, and I'm it's very cathartic. Like I listen to audiobooks and just like paint my little shits together.
Nice.
Kevin got me a little table upstairs, so it's all cleared off because I was taking too much of the regular table, and I'm doing it with my friend Allison. And
nice.
So we're buying them together and like splitting the cost of shipping and like giving each other one. So my next one's gonna be a map of the world, but it's like arty and like rainbowy and pretty.
Oh, cool. Now what are you gonna do with them when you're
excited.
done? Are you gonna hang them up?
I fucking don't know. So like because Allison and I started doing these paint by numbers and we were like showing people our progress, other people started buying paint by number kits, and like I was like, oh shit, I was gonna give away these paint by numbers to these people who are now painting by number. So I guess I'm gonna put them up somewhere. Maybe I'll put them in the kids' room.
Yeah,
like, Mommy made this for you.
That's what I used to do with puzzles. When I was in college, I put puzzles together and then I would rubber cement the back of them and give them to my friend to put up in her kids' room because they were always things like Lion King and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, well, I'll figure it out. I'm like 99% done with Starry Night. I've like think I've slowed down because I don't what are you doing? You're itching your face. Do I have something on my face? Kelly, do I have something on my face?
The resolution's not good enough to tell. You look fine. I can't see
just
anything.
You asshole. You made me, I was like in the middle of my paint by number frenzy. You
It's just
start
mean.
touching your face for people
He's
who don't have a video feed.
He's getting you back for
Wrong with me. Anyway, I'm almost done, but I don't know what to do with it, and I think that's why I've delayed, like started slowing down because like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do when I'm done?
I mean, if all else fails, you could like, chuck it behind the fridge. I mean, it's not, still have fun with it, even if you end up with a pile of
That's
paintings you
true.
don't know what to do with.
That's true.
We have wall space.
We do have wall space. Our walls are like blank to the point of like maybe we're serial killers. Like,
You can take them to your new neighbors as housewarming gifts
ooh.
because they ain't gonna hang up a photo because they don't have any.
That's true. That's true. Fuck that neighbor. Anyway, you got one hap. I've allotted you one independent hap.
One half.
One
What's
hap.
your hap?
So I started playing Monster Hunter Rise, which is sort of a very easy introduction to the Monster Hunter universe. So instead of like having to go grind for 30 hours to get a set of armor, like it's usually done in maybe 1 hunt, 2 hunts, no big deal. Still the same old mechanics, still the same fucking annoying, well done, rare meat business, but it's still fun. It's got a really cool kind of traditional Japanese art style of like, you know, the watercolors and the paintbrush. But it's got the Monster Hunter, you know, lore. You know, same monsters, same general stuff. But it's just got a really pretty art style. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's certainly not a huge, it's usually certainly not the time commitment and the time sink that old Monster Hunter games were. It's a very easy intro into the sort of the setting, because like Try and World are very granular, and it just require a lot of just grinding the same quest over and over and over and over and over again to get one drop from one monster. Like, and it's just, it takes forever. This one is just so much more forgiving. You get a little dog that hangs out with you,
And a cat.
and a cat, a shitty cat,
And a bird.
there are fucking like thousands of like cat puns. They're meowcenaries, and you know,
Love
that
it.
monster's furious, and I'm just like, fucking
Love it. I love it.
bullshit, fucking cat. Like, I'm glad you died, cat. I'm glad
No!
you're basically just a fucking health pinata for me. Just run up to the monster, get beat the hell out of you, and then, you know, just soak damage for me, you stupid cat.
Cat comes back. It's got many lives.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
The dog's cute. You get to ride the dog. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What platform are you playing it
I-
on? Oh, sorry.
Switch,
Okay.
which I don't necessarily like. I think there are a lot of problems with the Switch, but it's fine. You know, I think I'm glad the Switch is definitely. I mean, getting a Pro controller was probably the best choice on that, but still, I think it definitely has problems with some syncing and joystick alignment. But other than that, no big huge issues.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's been fun to watch, although like you have to go hunt these monsters, and they showed this clip of like, look at how bad and awful this monster is.
Oh yeah, the opening cutscenes are sort of traditional Japanese like rhyming couplet, which are really fun. And then there's sort of there's a specific word that I can't think of it, but it's like where they do the art, where they like do a freeze frame and they show you the names of like the monster and their like special thing. You know, it's very inspired by traditional Japanese stuff, but yeah, the cutscenes are, I mean, they're almost worth just watching yourself.
The cutscenes are choice, although they're like, now go fight and kill this monster. And I'm like, is this little bear is just trying to eat some fish? Why you gotta go kill this bear? Apparently because the bear won't stop eating fish, and it's an ecological disaster. That's why you gotta kill the bear.
Yeah, the reason you need to kill that bear is you need to dress up in that bear's skin.
No,
Wait.
this is an ecological
That
disaster.
bear has got some comfortable skin. I do like how sometimes the monsters will drop things. Just you'll have beaten the hell out of them, and they will accidentally drop something. Sometimes the thing they drop is their hide,
Whoops.
Nice.
which is just like,
Ow,
it's like,
my
oh,
skin.
my skin's gone.
Ow. Hand me back my skin. It's cold and painful.
Like,
That's just, oh, you might have to cut this out, but like just like the monster's weave. Oh
No. My weed. Hell,
no, the earring fell off.
my yaki bundles.
Monster
God.
keeps dropping fingernails.
My sew-in. Crap.
No.
We can talk about weaves. Well, so
Okay,
I got a
I'm-
question. You guys are my only friends who still watch anime.
Hmm.
Did any of you watch the latest Evangelion? The Evangelion 3.0 or 3.0?
No, that's not our
no,
thing.
I've given over even. Like,
Oh my god, it was
Watched
terrible.
it.
You're not missing anything.
Oh, thank God.
no, I can't imagine. I can't imagine he's better on the meds.
No, like the first, of course, the original I loved, and it may just be nostalgia. I think if I went back and watched it again, I'd be like, this is crap. But no, I watched it and I fast forwarded through most of it. Spoiler alert, fast forward about 3 minutes from for me saying this if you want to watch it. The first 2/3 of the movie is just Shinji crying. Sometimes he's crying in a fetal position. Sometimes he's got his head on his knees, like he's sitting down with his head, like, on his knees. Just crying, not helping, not doing anything. The entirety of the whole movie is once again Shinji just get in the goddamn Ava. Like that's all. Like it's just. I'm like, why'd you draw this a third time? This is terrible. And now it makes even less sense. And I went online, and people were like, it was amazing. It was such a wonderful tie up to the end. This well beloved. I'm going, did we see the same thing? Like people,
Oh,
they just. I guess they drank the Kool Aid, or me. Maybe I just didn't get it, but I didn't get it.
I've had the same exact experience because I watched The Green Knight recently. I didn't go
Oh,
into a theater. I watched it at its like,
Roger and I were gonna go see that, and then something happened. Is it not good?
okay, I will not. I mean, I can't. How
Well,
can I spoil? Like, have you read the fucking thing?
of
Like,
course, it's like 700 years old, or like even more,
right,
like 800 years old. Yes, I know the
like,
story of
I'm
the Green
like,
Knight.
so anyway, it's pretty faithful to
Yes.
the thing.
Okay.
It is so slow. Like, it is like it is a fateful what is it?
Retelling.
Retelling
Sort
of
of.
there's some deviations, whatever, but it's very faithful to the acts that happen,
Hmm.
and and the things that happen in that poem are like 2.5 things,
Yeah.
and that is not 2 hour long movie material.
Well, so I was excited because it's A24 is a production company who I love. All
Mhm,
of their horror
mhm.
has been
Oh yeah.
fantastic. Hereditary and
Mhm,
Midsummer, like amazing. And I like the guy who's
mhm.
playing not the Green Knight, but the other. Is he Gawain?
Gawain,
Gawain.
Gawain.
Gawain? Yeah.
They say it differently in the film, but it's Gawain.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean maybe
Gawain,
they're saying it in old English.
whatever.
I speak American English. Even saying that makes me but even trying to be funny. But yeah, so that's why I was like, hey, let's go see this thing. And then I couldn't wake up in time to go and get it all done. And then there's other stuff
Mhm.
that's happening. So we missed it. And I was like, well, we'll have to catch it on the flippity flop. But now, I mean, if it's boring, I'll wait for it to come out for free on one of the
Okay.
17 different streaming channels I own.
Unfortunately, so since I watched it in somebody's house when it was like being streamed like all together,
Hmm.
you paid $20 to
On
like,
your laptop.
yeah, we're not going to get into the logistics of how much it was hurting cats, and I had to do everything anyway. And then I had to sit on the fucking floor. Anyway, it's fine. Everything's fine. Um, lawfully low. So I it was awful because it wasn't in a theater. Like I couldn't hear the soundtrack that well. I had to turn on sound subtitles because there was something bad with the streaming platform where the sound was like really too low.
Oh
Because when it
God.
went to like the end stuff, it was getting too loud. Like the talking with the director and all that bullshit.
Right.
So like that experience was awful. Like this is a movie that needed to be seen in a theater. And I'm
Right.
not a pretentious asshole. Like I think that kind of thought of like I love theaters because of the cinematic experience. No, I think it's stupid and pretentious. But
Yeah.
like this specific film is awful if you do not have either a really good sound setup or a pitch black, a really good screen to
Yeah.
actually see how beautiful it is,
Right.
and like a dark ass room to watch it in. So like if you can try to make it to the theater, I think it would probably be worth it. But after 9 o'clock Eastern time on a Wednesday, on a Wednesday night,
Yeah.
like with bad sound, bad image, bad seating arrangement, having to hear all of your friends' noises. Because when you go to the theater and you're with your friends, you don't hear your friend like gulping because
Right.
the sound is so loud around.
Right.
But like when you're just at a fucking, screening in somebody's living room and they've got just the speakers that are coming out of their damn TV, no
Yeah.
other speakers or anything, you're like, damn, do you always chew this loudly? What the fuck?
Quit making that sound.
Quit making that sound. like all the little old man coughs
Yeah, yeah,
that they just do by existing.
yeah.
Like,
No, we can't have it. Can't have it.
anyway, everyone's been like, "Oh, this movie was just so amazing. It's such a great retelling. It really opened my eyes to the ideas of honor and chivalry." And I'm like, "Bitch, it was slow. It
Like,
wasn't
I was
even that
bored.
pretty. I
was
was bored. I almost fell asleep. I didn't like it."
I was irritated.
No, I've have not seen the Green Knight, but I've heard a lot about it, and everyone that I've heard is like, it's a very interesting film. It takes a little bit to work through. It is not your standard traditional like fantasy film or horror film.
Hmm.
It is very much a allegory about what it means to be honorable.
Right.
And if that's what you want, great. But it's not the trailers make it look like it's a horror film or that it's like a fantasy film, like in like Labyrinth or
Yeah.
Legend or one of those films. It's not that.
So imagine if you watched the trailer, but between each like cut, you paused it and you stared at the screen for 20 minutes. And then you
Yeah.
unpaused it. Like that is the film. Because everything that happens is in the fucking trailer.
Gotcha.
Like everything.
yeah.
But then also like it's so slow. Like there's so many times they're having a conversation and they're just looking at each other,
Yeah.
waiting
Yeah.
for each other to
Yeah.
speak. And I'm like, just say no, motherfucker. I'm tired. I want
trying
to
to
go
go
to
home."
bed. It's midnight. Ah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we didn't waste our let's drive to a different city, go to a movie on it. Because I still haven't done that since restrictions were lifted. And now it looks like I might not do it
Yeah, no kidding.
until these little babies can get vaccinated. But yeah, that it's funny. Did you see Midsummer?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you like Midsummer?
The bear in the box, the cage. Grr.
Yeah.
Bear. That's the only thing I remember about Midsummer. I don't remember much about it.
I mean, it's a good film. But
Well, I'm
wasn't there, is there a 6-minute, isn't there like a 6-minute pie eating scene in Midsummer, or is that in Hereditary?
There's no pie eating in Hereditary. There's just where Charlie eats the cake. In Midsummer, there is. It's not 6 minutes, but there is a guy eating pie that has pubic hair in it,
Gross.
which
I
is
don't remember much.
how come my lemonade is more orange than everyone else's? Oh, period blood. Welcome to horror movies.
Yuck.
Yeah,
But
well,
also whatever.
yeah,
it's
no,
just
he
blood.
deserved everything that happened to him.
Oh, did you see Sweet Tooth then?
Not yet. It's on the list because I was like, have I? But it's because I've added it to my to watch list. Is there
'Cause
tooth? Is there teeth thing in there where they like pull teeth and stuff?
No, Sweet Tooth is the it's A24 again.
Yes,
About
but the
the
little
deer.
boy, is a deer boy. I haven't
Yeah.
watched that yet because I thought it was going to be depressing. Is it depressing?
No, I mean I think it's just a retelling of Bambi.
Oh,
No,
well,
it's not. I thought it was a fucking comic.
It is, but I think it's just a retelling of Bambi.
I thought it was like just like this person can save humanity. Like a zombie retell, like kind of like this person has the cure to the zombie stuff kind of thing.
I mean that happened in Bambi.
No, it didn't.
It did.
yeah, Bambi 2 zombies.
I mean, yeah. I mean, eventually, any series that goes on long enough eventually gets to zombies.
I watched
It's-
something recently that had zombies in it, or was apocalyptic. What was it? Oh, I
Army of
watched
the Dead.
No, I watched the first season of C. Because I got access to an Apple account.
Ooh.
So, I mean, it was pretty interesting, and you can't go wrong with Jason Momoa.
Mimosas.
Mimosas.
Speaking of,
You drinking mimosas?
I'm drinking mimosas. Kev, we had orange juice and we needed to drink it up. And I'm like, I'm not drinking this without champagne. So I bought a little brute, little bottle.
Pure class. Pure class.
Very pure class. And I was like, make me a mimosa. And then Kevin, an entire pint glass this was full of orange juice and champagne, and I'm like, I've never had so much orange juice in my whole life. Anyway,
The most
And I put a
bottomless
shot of triple sec in it.
it was the most, and you put triple sec in
Put a
it.
shot of triple sec in it.
Holy fuck! No wonder we're in the face.
Yeah. Triple
Gotta get
sec
rid of
does
that
make
triple
it,
sec.
it makes mimosas better. Also add a tiny little bit of grenadine. But but then it's just it's a champagne sunrise. So yeah, I almost made a martini, but I'm so dehydrated from doing nothing but just drinking coffee, playing the D&D campaign, that I decided against it. Because I would have been drunk. So all right, let's go on to our main topic. So this was originally G's idea, which thanks for coming up with an idea because I am out of them. And I've entitled it "Mix It Up: Why Having Your Own Friends is a Good Idea." And this is because we went to brunch last week and we're talking about how for relationships, it's good to have your own sets of friends and your own hobbies that don't involve each other, and how to avoid codependence, and how like we were talking about using the two of you and me as an example. For like a couple years there, like we were so codependent. And that's a problem that I have with lots of friends. Like I will find a friend or two friends where I'm like, okay, they're my friend now. Like, we're having soft tacos later. Like, and then it's just like, okay, so I want to hang out with them all the time at the expense of all the other friends out there who are like clamoring for my attention. No, but and so
A little
then,
bit.
well, but then at the point where, especially speaking as someone who doesn't have children, inevitably all of your couple friends will go and have children. At that point, it's like, well, not only do they not have the time, but now they're going to start hanging out with friends with similar interests who also have children because it's convenient, and also you have things to talk about.
Yes.
And so yeah, so it's a good idea. It's good to not be codependent, and I think it makes friendships stronger. I know that since we've stopped being so codependent with one another, I have found that my friendship, especially with you, G, has gotten much stronger because now we're in like the lady chat, and so we bond on a very much like ladies level. We're like, we have lady problems, talk about lady things, mostly talk shit about boys, but
Yes.
usually. But yeah, so speak on it. Talk about
Speak
what it
on
was
it.
you were telling me.
Oh, gee, woo. So I guess in both like relationships that are, platonic, and then the relationships that are romantic,
Mhm.
it's definitely good to have like outside other people to just codependency is just so toxic to so many things. And I feel like you mentioned, we were definitely like the three of us were like a little pod, and we did everything together. Like
Everything.
so many things.
But you
And
guys
it
are
was
cool, and I like to hang out with you.
it was a good time. Like it was a
Yeah.
very good time. But and like some part of me is like, and it would be fun to like go back to that. But there's like no way, because we
Yeah.
have kids, and you can't even come over anymore and drink cocktails into the night while we talk, because then we'll get too loud and wake up children, and
Yeah.
it would be awful.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't even work anymore. So but like now how our friendship works is we go do other things. You're off raising money for charity, I'm off doing other things with mom friends, telling you about my paint by number with all my other moms.
Right.
And like we have things to talk about together, and we're bringing into other things. Like we now talk about so much more, because at the end of like by the end, it was not really it was a weird timeline, but by the end of the time where we were all very codependent, we were talking about the same things over and over and over again. And like if you go, I don't go back and listen to any podcast I'm ever on.
Me either.
Except
for Cautious Optimism. I am listening to Cautious Optimism.
That's nice. I don't like to hear all the likes that I put in, or the so's, or the weird pauses that I do. And I'm like, I hate my voice. Let's not listen to this. So I was saying, oh man, you put too much triple sec in my mimosas.
You were talking about how at the point where we had to stop being codependent.
Right. So we were just talking about the same thing. And we would, if you listen to those podcasts from when we were in that phase, like it's unlistenable to anyone who's not our friend because we're just making in joke after in joke
Yeah.
after in joke that like nobody from the outside listening in could have any chance of understanding. Like I think
Yep.
literally every time we were on the podcast together, we were like, and you know, Emilio Statham, ha 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 ha,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
we would laugh forever, and like nobody knows
It's still
why
funny.
that's funny.
but
It is
just to
so
us.
fucking hilarious,
But it's just funny to us.
We're doing it again. Anyway.
But no, you're exactly right. And the only negative review we ever got was around that time where some woman on it's an Apple podcast, it was like gave us a 1-star review and said, "This is just a bunch of friends who are judgy." And I'm like, I mean, you're not
Yeah,
wrong.
you're right.
I mean, you're right. You're right.
Got it in one.
You
You're
got
right.
it in one. I love it.
That's fair.
You're right. But like, so now I think our friendship is not it's more sustainable
Hmm.
for one, and we have more to talk about. So it's like the pilot light is on instead of like there'd be times where in when we were hanging out, like I threw a drink on you
You
at
did.
one point.
You did.
Like so you said something and it made me cry in the middle of a bar in downtown Raleigh after Animazement or something.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
So
I remember
like,
that. I was like, what? I was like, oh yeah, no, I remember. Now. I remember
yeah,
that.
like I like rushed out cry but that's not healthy because we were just around each other too much.
Right. And I mean,
you
it's like
okay?
that old,
Legs are falling asleep.
Your legs are falling. Got spider hell legs over here.
you know, you're gonna have blood clots. Take aspirin. No, and also, you know, it's like the thing about I can't miss you till you leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we were around each other too much, and I did that before you guys with another couple, where they were my entire friend group and my entire life, and so I have learned since then, that especially with the new job and having to be and with forced to be around other people, um, that I sort of latch on. And one of my problems was I constantly need to have attention constantly. But funnily enough, not from whoever I'm dating. In fact, their constant attention bothers me. I need therapy. It's real weird, but the I have found that Discord and one or two friends that will text me every day, I am now the most even keel. I get all the attention I could possibly need. I'm on 7 different Discords. I have to mute them all because everybody's chatting and talking, and a lot of it's talking to me or about me, and that's all I need in life. And so it's like, so that I'm getting that sort of that dopamine fix of, does anybody still remember that I even exist? And because I wake up every morning like, nobody even cares that I exist. And so this helps that. And also one of the things that we can move on and talk about is that when you have different friend groups who aren't friends with each other, like like the Venn diagram of your friendships don't necessarily fully overlap, you do have stories to then or things to talk about with the other circles. Like you can go take the things from one circle and talk about them in the other, and vice versa. And that's very refreshing. So it's like now you definitely do always have something interesting to talk about or like gossip to share.
Yes. And I will say, if you have Kelly as one of your circles and you don't invite her to anything else with your other girlfriends, you can be the funny one because then you just take all her jokes to the.
I had a friend at the place I used to work, the escort service place, who said she wanted to develop an app that was just Kelly responses to like shit that was happening. Because she's like, you'd have a good response. And I'm like, no, don't develop an app. Just invite me over. Just have me in the room. I'll make the response. Like, why do you want to have my responses without me? But no, it's just it's good. It's and now that I've branched out and I have 2 different sets of friends in Oxford. Like, in my small town, I have work friends and old friends and new friends, and then Durham friends and Raleigh friends, and like a whole different sort of like, and now my Hillsborough friends have moved closer together. So it's very convenient for me.
We walked to their house and it was hot. 0 out of 10 do not recommend.
What's funny? So here's the other funny thing, and they don't listen to this, and this wasn't mean. It's just it's fact. So I told them we play Cthulhu, and they were like, "Can't do Cthulhu on X, Y, and Z. Why?" Because our other Cthulhu friends couldn't make it because they were on a trip doing something fantastic. And so they were like, "Let's do it on this Saturday." And so I said, "Oh, I've got this charity event. It's going to run long, so I probably won't be able to make it on Saturday. And if I do, it'll be really late." And so then they said, "Well, we're moving on that day anyway, so we'll be moving." And so I thought that meant, well, because clearly we're not going to get together for Cthulhu because you just moved today. And why would we? Sounds insane to me. So halfway through my charity thing, I get a text from her, which she's been on the show, from JJ, and she's like, "So are you coming over tonight?" And I said, "No, I'm not. You just moved. It's no." I said, "I'm still doing this charity thing." I didn't tell her I was recording this, but still, I was like, "No." She's like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll have a cocktail some other time." And I'm going, "I want to go sit on a box at your house and drink whatever liquor bottle you can fish out from the. I'll see you when everything's set up and the ice machine works, like, and the air conditioner's going. I'll see you then. I don't want to be there now."
I'll tell you what though. So we didn't go inside. We just dropped off some 6-packs or whatever. And of course we walked because I was like, I want to see what it's like. But like I made Kevin drive the van to the park that's halfway so that we had to escape in case like a child had a meltdown or whatever. But anyway, we didn't bring our masks because I was like, they're not gonna want to show off their house or whatever.
Right.
And so we get there and she's like, come inside. I'm like, oh, we don't have our masks. And you know, they have kids, we have kids,
Yeah.
you know, we didn't want to do all that stuff. And so she's like, oh, okay. And so we talk a little bit. I think they were probably just desperate. So like, you're moving, it's boring. And they're like, we just want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Like Mark came out of the house. He's like, hey.
Look, let me tell you something. If you, because I'm 40, I'll be 44 next week or 2 weeks from now. I don't want to be anywhere near you when you're moving, because at some point you're going to ask me to shift a box and I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself.
Right.
I'm not
Anyway.
helping. I'm not helping.
Of course, our 4-year-old is like, I need to go potty. And I'm like, oh no. And so they open their garage. And there's like a little powder room right if you go into the door of the garage, like there's a little powder room. And we went in there and we go in there and like we're like, let's stay 6 feet and all this stuff. And so I'm there with the 4-year-old, and the 4-year-old's like, I gotta go poop. And so she was the first person to poop in that toilet.
Well, maybe she's related to me, because I like to be the first person to do lots of stuff at people's houses, but poop not. But other stuff, yeah.
Poop. You do not poop, as it's
That's right.
Fact.
No one can prove it.
No one can prove it. But yeah, so anyway, we've gotten all closer together, so you can just kind of hit us up and then hit the other ones up, or we could maybe even all get together. Probably never.
We'll just meet at the park.
We'll just meet at the park.
We'll just meet at the park. You know, hang out at the park.
Yeah.
Like the teenagers did.
Oh yeah, there's the teenagers at that park. Man, I hate teenagers now. I didn't know I'd hate them when I was
afraid of the youths.
We're afraid of the youths.
We're too old.
We're too old.
So to jerk this 16-wheeler back on topic.
It's an 18-wheeler.
What's a 16-wheeler?
I don't know. I'm tired. What do you want?
Are you? Is this part of the Mandela effect? Are you from a universe where transfer trucks have 16 wheels? Okay, sorry.
I mean, I don't know.
Kevin says just 2 of the wheels are still going to be off track, but 16 of them I'm trying to put.
Are we the 2 wheels? Okay.
We're the 2 wheels.
No.
I mean, it's a long way to get to the joke, but still. No, I was going to say the other thing that's kind of nice about having different groups of friends is if it's sort of the idea behind, like, you know, why diverse populations tend to survive problems better than and that way, you know, like for example, like, you know, you have something happen in one group of friends, you have other groups of friends to kind of rely and fall back on, you know, and like, you know, like if your only group of friends was people you played Magic with, or people you played Dungeons and Dragons with, or people you watched anime with, if you get out of that hobby for whatever reason, you know, you just get tired of it, or you're like, I want to do something new. It's very difficult to go find something new if like the only group of people that you have are the people that you watch anime with, because they're going to want to keep watching anime. And it's also sometimes hard to determine if that group of friends may not be the best for you at that time, if you only have that one group of friends. You know, if you've only got like, you only see three people and all of them are, you know, weirdos, and you're like, yeah, but they're my friends, you know, maybe sometimes those weirdos are people you don't want to keep hanging out with just because they're weird.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe they do objectionable things. Like I had it in high school where I was like, yeah, I'm hanging out with these guys, but one of them just really seems to be super jazzed about women that are underage. And like, and I was like, you know, and
Yikes.
you know, I was younger. I was certainly younger at the time, and I was, you know, and I let him get away with behavior that an older me would not have let get away with.
Yeah.
It was very bad. And part of the reason I didn't, you know, call him out on more stuff was because he was like one of two friends I had.
Right.
And you don't want to live, you know, be going through life like that. You don't want to be, you know, having such a small group of friends you have to, you know, cover for their weird behaviors, like when they sneak into your friend's, you know, younger sister's room, and you
Oh,
have to be like, hey, that's really not cool, man. And you know, you have to have that awkward conversation. You know, when you have other friends, they can be like, yeah, that's really not okay. That was what he did was not okay. You should not be friends with them anymore.
yeah.
And you know, it helps keep you in a more healthy state to be able to have more friends and more groups of friends that are separated from each other, hopefully by, you know, either similar interests or similar disinterests, I guess would be the case, or distance, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Well, so talk about it in a relationship setting, because like as opposed to, instead of just friends, like we know, and we won't say who they are, but we know couples who one has all the hobbies, does all the things, and the other one does nothing.
Mhm.
And so therefore that other one that does nothing, their whole world revolves around the spouse.
Mhm.
And the spouse is out living their lives doing all kinds of stuff, and the one without any hobbies just basically is leeching it out of them. You know, the sort of entertain me because I can't go entertain myself.
Mhm.
And like that's bad for everybody.
Right. It's really essential to have separate hobbies and separate friend groups. And there's maybe nothing wrong with, I would say our dynamic is a little bit like I'm more social and I go out and he stays home a bit more. Um, but it's never um it's never so bad that like I feel like he's leeching off me. And also he finds other, like when y'all were playing Destiny, Destiny's pretty much dead at this point. But when y'all
Hmm.
were playing Destiny all together, like you would just, you know, be playing Destiny while you'd be like, you'd ask, "Where's G?" And he'd say,
Yeah.
"I don't know, at a hockey game." Like
Right. Or at trivia. Or
or
out
trivia.
doing some
I
other
do all
fun
these other
project.
things. Yeah. So like he would have his own friends and he would come and tell me all about the Destiny stuff and the haps that
Mm.
was happening. I'm like, well, what did Kelly say? Tell me all these things. And I would deliver then um the haps that was happening around here. And so we each kind of contributed. Um Now he does more of like a looking for group and he gets to complain about these dudes, some of these dudes.
Well, the clan has been good.
The clan has been good, but I like to,
Yeah.
yeah, you sometimes complain about the dudes.
Oh yeah, some of that's just
Did you switch clans again?
no. The clan,
They renamed.
they renamed, and they're right at the cap of the 100 cap.
Oh
So
wow. So you've always got
um,
somebody in the clan playing.
yeah, and that's
In the clan plan.
and they're all adults and they're not, you know, weirdos. And like they've had to kick some people out who were like, that Hitler guy had some good ideas. And then the guy was like, nope.
Van Hammer. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just he's like, well, we're done talking with this guy.
He had some good
And
idea.
yeah, you know, and you know, they're all, you know, they're all adults, they're all, you know, in the same sort of general life stages. And it's just nice and very widely, you know, some people are just starting the game, some people are, you know, everywhere. And it's nice to just be able to have a varied group of people that you can contact almost any time. But I think it's also important within relationships to be able to not have a single person be your entire universe. I don't think
Right.
that's that level of like I know that there is certainly a narrative that especially Hollywood and things promotes about, just you and me against the world, Bonnie and Clyde style. And just for those of you who don't know, Bonnie and Clyde didn't end well for those two.
Yeah, they were kind of
Like,
riddled with bullets.
yeah, a lot of bullets.
Yeah, yeah.
And not like love bullets, real bullets that
Real
hurt
lead
and
bullets.
killed them.
I do like love bullets. Shout out to love bullets.
But it's but it's not good to not have anybody to be able to at least bounce ideas off of,
Hmm.
to just be able to sometimes, because a lot of times if you're in a, like, let's say you're in a bad relationship, or you're in, or something's happened, you want to be able to talk to somebody else. And look, if one of the ways that a cult exerts pressure over you is by isolating you from your friends and
Yeah.
anyone else, that's probably not what you want to do with your life by yourself, like, on your own. You don't want to be like, I've got a lot of friends, I should cut those numbers down, I feel really like I should, cut people out of my life for, no reason at all.
So this segues beautifully into the recent rebroadcast of an NPR podcast called Hidden Brain. They
Right.
did How Did Marriage Get to Be So Hard was the title, and it was essentially about the evolution of marriage and how the modern marriage is a love marriage, and there's this narrative that they're supposed to be everything to you. They're supposed to be your social life, they're supposed to be your financial life, they're literally all of these other things, and that's not realistic of any one person to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of marriages they do love each other, but expectations aren't there and everything, and then they end up in divorce. And a lot of, I'm sure Roger, resident lawyer, whatever, will tell you they end up hating each other. Like,
Yeah, there's a I know my example is my parents. My parents stayed together until my mom died, but my father was never here. He had either he had one job that he spent 16 hours at every day, or he had two jobs that he spent 20 hours at every day. Like, he was constantly gone working.
Mhm.
And when he retired, so he basically, mom worked from home. So basically they missed each other. So like when he got home, like, they both cooked, but like, it was like, you have your meal, he goes to sleep, nobody's fighting over the TV, everything's fine. And when he retired, he was here. And so he would get up in the morning and do his little morning stuff and go downstairs and watch TV at full volume, because my father's deaf and refuses to get hearing aids. And my mother nearly killed him.
Mhm.
And so she moved out of their bedroom into my old bedroom and created her own sort of soundproof space where she had her TV and all her books. And she went from her office to that room. And that was the room she died in. Like, that's how she was able to keep from killing him, because he was so annoying, because he was just
Mhm.
constantly there. And she'd spent
Mhm.
they were together for almost 50 years. She'd spent 40 years of him not being there. Now suddenly he was up underfoot all the time and making a mess and getting in her way and doing things that she, was irritated with. And then in turn, he was irritated with her.
Mhm.
So, it's, and that doesn't work for everybody. But I know that when I got married, now my marriage didn't work, but my marriage didn't work for other reasons. But we did live well together, because
Mhm.
he had his office and I had my office, and we were
Yeah.
both only children. We were used to being alone most of the time.
Mhm.
So he got home and I worked from home, and we would, shared who would cook, who would clean, all that stuff was pretty much fine. But once we were done eating dinner, it was like, all right, well, you go play your video games in your room and I'll go play my video games in mine, and we'll
Mhm.
meet back up together when it's time to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So, I think that it depends on this person, but I think if you have spent any sort of time by yourself, it's magical. Like, to be alone and to not have to deal with another person, it's magical. And in a marriage, you can't do that all the time. But I think if you can have those sorts of moments to yourself, where you're out watching a sport, or you're out doing a thing that you like to do, and not around the other person all the time, they don't have the
Mhm.
opportunity to piss you off, to get on
Yeah.
your nerves.
You don't get
And-
the opportunity to piss me off.
I do take every opportunity, though. I mean, that is not an untrue statement. I do take every opportunity to piss you off.
Yeah, and the last relationship I was in, I mean, take out the fact that he's abusive and an asshole.
Mhm.
His whole idea about, has to eat dinner at 5 o'clock, and it becomes a big issue, and I'm, in the middle of a trial, and he's calling like, "How come you're not home? How come you're not here?" Not that he wanted me to cook; he's cooking, but
Mhm.
he wants me to sit next to him while he eats.
Mhm.
And since he has a specific time to eat, like, you know, if you're gonna eat 5 hamburgers, just go ahead and get started. Maybe I'll get there
Yeah.
before you're done.
We got it.
Like that sort of pressure, and then sitting there, and then after eating, we would just watch, TV shows until essentially I was like, well, I'm gonna go home. Like it was awful, and I hated it, and I resented it, and I felt when I was trying to rush back from work or from doing whatever it is I had to do. And luckily this was during COVID, so we didn't have the fights of me being social. Like I'm in 3 gaming groups and,
Mhm.
doing all this other stuff. This wasn't happening back then. But the resentment I felt having to drive to be like, oh, well, I got to get there. He'll be upset. I don't want to make him upset. And to be there, at a specific time to watch him eat a lot was just, it was like, this sucks. I hate it. Like, and he had no other friends. So he had nothing to talk about. He had 2 friends
Mhm.
he played Call of Duty with, but that was it. And so he had no one, like he could complain about work because he didn't go into work. He worked from home. So he could complain about the crazy bitches and cunts at work, because that's how he talked about women. And that's the woman who fired him. Um, didn't take too kindly to all that. But like this concept of he didn't have there nothing had happened to him all day because he'd done
Mhm.
nothing. He had no other hobby, he had no other thing to do. And so when I show up, if he asked me about my day, which he rarely did, I would have things to talk about because I've just been at work or just, been chatting with people online. And then when I'd say things like, oh, well, in the lady chat, we were talking about this, it would be, well, who are these people in the lady chat? Even though not only had I told him 100 times, I made him a list with pictures on it as to who all you guys were. So you'd know who my friends were. And it was
Wow.
Well, that's not something weird.
well, just because he quit asking me, and he still just, well, who's that? Well, who's what? When he looked at the list and found out that you guys were that G was the only one who changed her last name. So none of your girlfriends took their husbands' names, and I was like, well, I mean, one did. I said, and one they're lesbians. So I don't know whose name you want them to take. They're both women. I don't know how you
You both take your both names.
right. I'm like, that's how it is.
No,
He's
you
like,
just
"What?"
find a gay couple and they take one of their names.
Oh, you
What
just
is it?
have to get the men's name.
You just have to go find a man's name. But it was stuff like that with like, oh, what kind of crazy women are you around? They don't even take. And I'm thinking, if you think I'm taking you got your mind. Like, so apart from the fact that was just such a shitty and horrible relationship, and the amount I will put up with for someone who I think is good looking in the face, um, the one of the main points of contention was we had nothing to talk about because he did nothing. He had no outside interest other than complaining about the house I let him rent. Like, so, if you would like to your relationship to last and not end up like mine, don't be a violent asshole, but also go do something. Go be interesting. It's like when we talk all the time about people going in order to branch out and meet new people, or to find dates, or to be more appealing to a potential date. It's like, go and work on yourself, make yourself more interesting, go and do things that you find fulfillment in, because another person can't actually fulfill you. Another
Correct.
person can
Yeah.
compliment you. They can they can support you, and they can make you better, not being better people, but they can certainly be a benefit to you. But you're the
Mhm.
only person that can make yourself actually happy. And you do that by going and doing fun stuff that you enjoy.
So, not to break this amazing topic, but we might have a 4th guest as there's a roach crawling towards us. He might just come out. Oh, dear. Anyway, everything's fine.
Everything's
fine.
fine. Everything's fine.
If everything goes black suddenly, it's because I flipped this fucking weight bench and I tailed it out. You better stay over there. You stay the fuck over there.
People don't know the plight of those of us who live in the woods. We get roaches no matter how clean our houses are.
It's so
Roaches just like walk in the damn door.
I mean, it's so wet around my house with the
Yes.
moss trees and roaches. The fuck
roaches-
away.
The roaches are like, did I get any mail? You guys like get any packages here? Like, get out.
I'm out of here.
Let me tell you what I've been doing. You need a bunch of poop.
It's been
Good.
great. You left some cardboard out there. I laid some eggs in it. Hope you don't mind.
Damn it.
Get
Damn
out of
it,
here.
Roachie.
I gotta get out of here.
Fucking codependent roaches.
These
I know.
codependent roaches.
I got up the other morning and I was going to the bathroom and to pee because reference earlier, and the the cat bowls, I put food in it at night so that they'll let me sleep, and Sheldon can't keep his mouth closed when he eats, and so food just sort of drops out of his mouth like an old man, even though he has all his teeth. And so there's little bits of food everywhere, and I had one of those trays underneath it to keep it from getting underfoot before I could sweep it. Then I never swept it.
Uh-huh.
It'd be weeks, and I'd be like, I gotta clean that tray out. And I went to walk into the bathroom. I was like, why is that food moving? And there was like a legitimate, like a dirty, like a, not an outside roach. Like I grew up in the city streets, sort of this big, just like with both hands, like eating the old piece of cat food. And I said, we gotta get rid of that tray. That tray's gotta go. The roach touched it. It's out. And now I'm just there. I'm sweeping it like every couple hours. I go in there like with a little dust broom, like cleaning up the little food pieces.
There was one morning, I don't know if this is happening to both me and Kevin. We've come upstairs. If they're upstairs, because the humans aren't upstairs all the time, we mostly live downstairs.
Yeah.
And we'd come into the gym early in the morning and we'd hear a thunk because we'd turn the light on it. We scared it off the wall and it falls on the ground.
Woke it up, startled it awake.
Like,
We were sitting at your kitchen table one time, this was years ago, and I saw a roach walk in underneath your kitchen door
mhm.
and then walk around and then just kind of walk into the kitchen. It was like, roach. And then a week later, we're sitting at the same place and a little tiny mouse came from the mudroom and then went into the pantry, and I was like, mouse. Because also you live out in the woods, you can get mice. It's just the way it is.
It's just how it is. Oh man, we figured out the how the mice were getting in.
Mhm.
I know that everyone. This is hot time. Everyone's
Hot
at the edge of their
topic.
seats. They're gripping
They're breaking
their
news.
steering wheels. They're like, "Oh, where did this
Wait.
mice come from?"
Can't
Can't
wait to
wait.
hear.
Okay, so our dishwasher, they drilled the hole down to the subfloor
Yeah,
Oh.
too wide, and so
Mm.
they're just like able to shimmy on
Yeah.
in, and there was nothing but rat poop under our old dishwasher.
Yeah,
And so we
yeah.
cleaned it out, and what Kevin did is he got caulk and a Brillo
Expandable
pad.
Yeah.
A Brillo pad. They can't eat. Mice can't
Yeah,
eat through the Brillo
and
pad.
so he did it both. So it was
Yeah.
a Brillo pad and caulk all the way up through, and then the cord and everything. And so
Yeah, that's what you have to do. You have to go. You have to basically go underneath everything you own and find a hole that's slightly bigger than the cord that's running or the pipe that's running through it, and that's how they're getting in.
that's
the
how
ba-
they did it.
The bad thing is that little tiny snakes will follow the mice in.
Mhm.
So I have, in this apartment I'm in right now, have opened up a drawer underneath the microwave, and there's been a little little garter snake in there, like
I'm a
looking at me.
chopstick.
Like looking at me. He's on top of all my like dish towels and pot holders, and so then I've got to do
He's
the
just a
thing.
little snake heaven. He's
You
like,
know
this
what?
is the best. This is the best.
This goes in here. A mouse is bound to walk past. So I opened up the door to outside because I don't mind snakes, but I can't. Getting one out of a drawer that's a high risk. I can't. So I basically am like, oh, 1, 2, 3, and I pulled the drawer out from the cabinet and went running like outside of the yard and just tossed all the dish towels and all the pot holders out into
And one snake.
the one snake's like, and the snake just like took off, which was fine. And then I'm out there like, I gotta go wash all these because the snake probably peed on them. But all just chasing mice.
Chasing mice. I'm
Chasing
telling.
mice.
Anyway, that
Sorry.
I don't know where that roach has gone. It's gone to go to Roach College. I don't know where it looked like a healthy, well-to-do roach.
He goes back out of the wall with a little cap on, and he like switches the cord from one side to the other.
Oh man.
Oh
But
my God.
I just it's to like I guess get this 16-wheeler back on.
Let's get these 14. We lose 2 wheels every time. Let's get this
No, we have to
14-wheeler back
14-wheeler.
on.
Get this 14-wheeler. Oh man. But it's just really important, like in platonic and in romantic relationships, you just really do need to get fulfillment outside of those relationships. It's
Yeah.
very important. I mean, I really highly recommend 10 out of 10. I would purchase again. Like I just like it keeps us strong, and it's nothing bad about the marriage. It's nothing like it's or bad about a friendship. It's if you're like, well, you know what, you know, Kevin, he does not like hockey. He
Right.
doesn't really like sports. It's
Yeah.
not his thing. I like it. I like
Yeah.
going to the games. He doesn't like going to the games. All that stuff. I just have hockey friends. I've got Discords full of hockey friends, Twitter's
Mhm.
full of hockey friends, love hockey. Got all that. He doesn't really know much about it. I'll call him and tell him about a drama thing, and he'll be like, that's really nice. I love that you're talking to me. Your tits jiggle while you talk. This is great. So like we do all of that. It's great. It's amazing. I've had a lot of champagne. Hello. This is all Kevin's fault. Why'd you put so much champagne in that cup?
Because he knew this would happen. He knew
He
it.
knew. He's like, I don't want a podcast past 10:30.
It's like, I want to be able to shut this down. Well, so speaking of which, why don't we move on to table flips? That's something
Yes.
you can do while drunk.
I could do.
Um,
Oh, yeah. You should
Oh,
do
I
yours
just
first. though.
saw what you did in the comments. So my table flip, I discovered that a lot of my table flips and also Roger's table flips are about the same woman. But I'm on a steering committee for Leadership Granville, which is a program that I did a couple years ago. And I wanted to be a part of it again to help steer it, to help, make sure that it continues on or whatever.
Mhm.
And so we have to meet at 8 a.m. every third Thursday at the Chamber of Commerce and get into the glamour that is my life. And so we were there this past Thursday. And at the end of each class, there's like 20 classes that you take when you become a part of this Leadership Granville program. And at the end of each class, you're either coming home on a bus or you're like in a factory where there are loud machines going off. And the people who are on the steering committee would hand you this form to sort of give it a review, to like fill out like a feedback form. Well, the first 5 questions on the feedback form are things like, list the names of all the speakers. Tell me what each speaker spoke about. It's like a fucking test. And then at the bottom, it would be like, would you like any of these speakers again? Who was your favorite? And so I brought up, hey, group, having just been going through this top part, not only does it not matter because we already paid, so it doesn't matter if we got anything out of it or not. I said, but also, most of us just ran around going, what was the name of that 4th speaker? I can't remember his name, and not really actually giving any feedback because we're trying to get the hell out of there. And we have to turn this thing in before we can leave under pain of death. They're like, don't leave without you're filling out your thing, your review. So I said, let's nix it. Let's get rid of it. I said, who is your favorite speaker? Who's your least favorite speaker? What did you like? What would you change? Sign, done. I said, don't even make them tell you the name of it because we're up there on our phones trying to find the spreadsheet for the official name because some of us, I don't know, leaders, want it to be correct. And we can't just wing it. Although I winged it most of the time and be like, the one on the farms. Like, you'll know what I'm talking about. What are you going to do?
The one with the eye patch.
Right. You're going to give me an F? Go right ahead. So
You're not a leader.
that's right. So I say, hey, let's get rid of that top part. And this older woman who I love very dearly, who's almost a surrogate mother of mine, who's also on the steering committee. Imagine that. She goes, that's what's wrong with your generation. They're just lazy and they don't want to do nothing. Whoa. I said, I think you mean millennials. I'm a Gen Xer. I said, but by the way, I said, why has it got to be generational? I'm giving you the feedback you need. I was like, this is what I'm telling you. And there were 3 other people who were on the steering committee who were also in my class. And then everybody else who's in it had eventually at one point taken the class. And they're like, yeah, it was, excuse me. They're like, yeah, it was really time consuming and we were focusing more on trying to get the name of the speakers and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, I mean, if you just we can't just change everything because of your laziness. Your generation just is so lazy. And I said, stop saying my generation, because out of the four of us here, we're all in different generations. I said, also, I didn't say that we don't want to give you feedback. I'm just saying, don't quiz us on it because it's pointless. I said, also, this is what really pissed her off. I said, can save this on a file on a computer and change it. We don't need to use a mimeograph machine to run off copies anymore. These things are all kind of fluid nowadays. It's like just completely, because she knew exactly, she's smart. She knew exactly what I was saying. I'm like, yo, lady, quit yelling at me. So needless to say, it's changed. Because everyone agreed with me of all generations, including people from her boomer generation who also thought they're right. The sheet is too long and complex and doesn't really give us what we were looking for. So my table flip is, don't just assume that the reason why people disagree with you is because they were born in a different decade than you or a different generation than you. It's kind of like saying, I don't like people who were born in 1977 because that's the year of the snake and I'm the year of the dog. It's meaningless bullshit. Like, none of that actually matters. So sorry, China, your menu calendars are dumb. Like, it's just so stupid.
Again, Kelly's gonna have to apologize in the next episode.
Dear China. We have like 7 listeners in China. I'm sure they get it.
They're breaking every law to listen to you, and then you're going to insult their menu calendar.
The menu calendar is bullshit. This is pointless and it doesn't matter. But yeah, just this concept of just, the reason, same way going the other way. When a bunch of people who are baby boomers get together and do a thing I don't like, me being like, oh, you're just a bunch of boomers. That's not helpful.
Unless it's the Republican Party.
I mean,
yes,
that's true.
I
won't apologize for that one.
To echo, I definitely agree, but like I love this thing that like so I'm just now getting old enough to have a younger generation start picking on me.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, like, millennials can't handle it. Like they're not able to deal with not being the young children anymore.
Yeah.
With these the Gen Zers or whatever they are.
Right.
Zombies.
The zombies. I don't know. So anyway, I am currently living for the fact that like eventually they're gonna be in my shoes and they're gonna be like, wait, what do you mean I can't wear my middle part anymore?
I know. I know.
What do you mean? What are these kids saying? But yeah, I'm to my table flip. I've forgotten because actually that's my hygge. What was my table flip about? My hockey team. God. Yes, because I was going to go on to my college campus stuff, but I was like, wait, no. Let me talk about the children later. That's the good thing. Okay, so my hockey team, and I'll be very short, and this is mostly for Roger's benefit, and Roger will probably want to argue with me about it, and I'm here for it. Let us argue offline on the Discord. I will win. You're wrong, Roger. I'm just going to say it out front. Okay?
Let's start a channel called Roger's Wrong.
Roger's Wrong. All right. So my hockey team is the Carolina Hurricanes. I love them dearly. I have a season ticket. I used to be, until recently, a season ticket holder. Like, loved it. It was fun. So they recently signed somebody who was kicked off another NHL team for being not a team player. And also he says racist things and uses slurs and all of that stuff. And I didn't like it. And he was no good. No good. And everyone's like, well, he's changed. He's reformed. There's a reason another hockey team who wants to win, they don't care about morals. They don't care about anything like that. All that the games want is to win.
Right.
And they still kicked him out.
Yeah, that's how bad he was.
That's how bad he was. And then we signed him because they're like, oh, he's a good deal. But also, you have spent all this time and PR money on like, we're a team that's the underdogs and we're here to bring us all together and play hockey and watch hockey and be hockey fans, even though this is a sport that mostly like white Canadians tend to watch. We're Southern, we're more Black, we're more people of color, like there's all these people, we're more queer than the traditional hockey thing. Like our team has like done the PR on that, and to like throw all that PR work, which is all it was just saying it to like get money
Uh-huh.
who they wanted, which whatever, they could do it, but like you have to be consistent. Don't then like sign some dude who says homophobic slurs and racist slurs and only says that he's changing, and I want to say, okay, whatever, give him a chance. I can see that argument. It was not enough for me, and so I canceled my season ticket membership and told them that was the reason. And before they signed this guy and there was rumors, I was like, please do not sign this guy. I will cancel my membership because this is not who I want my money to go towards.
That's right.
So I did. I canceled my season ticket membership. I got $600 back. I gave half of it to Black Girl Hockey Club because like clearly they need more money to want to be fans of this fucking league that keeps having fucking racist people play for it. Anyway, so that's my table flip. I had this wonderful thing that brought so much joy to my life, and now I can't in good conscience give it money. It makes me sad and angry, and now I'm pulling for a different team. Hello, the Colorado Avalanche. I am now your number one fucking fan. That's fuck the Carolina Hurricanes.
You took your traveler's checks to a competing resort.
Yes. So Kevin,
What's your table flip, Kevin?
you were cut off in traffic today.
Twice. I was amazed. People, unless you have lights and sirens on your vehicle, you do not need to be anywhere that fast to cut somebody off in a McDonald's drive-through. I mean, unless you are in like, shock, unless you are in,
It's literally fries before guys, and you were the guy.
Yeah. And I'm like, I just like, really, dude? Like, he tore into the parking lot, and I'm like, all right, man. I guess if you need fries to make sure that your day, you need that hot apple pie. Not even the hot apple pie, the hot, the hot strawberry and cream pie. I mean,
Oh,
who
God.
knew? You needed that. He needed that. He needed to get there before breakfast was over because he was not going to eat a hamburger at 10:30. He was not going to do it.
Only he
It
knew
was
that they serve
amazing.
breakfast all day. You're guys.
Not at this McDonald's. Apparently not. No, it was amazing because when we pulled up, you could see the order total from the previous car,
Mhm.
and it was only $2.14. So we only got 2 items. You got a sweet tea and a French fry. Like,
I mean, hey, that diabetic shock is nothing to
I
joke
guess.
we were talking shit about this man all day.
And he had, that was the thing. It's like, if you're gonna do that, just own it. Don't put your stick figure family in the back of your window. People are like,
Don't put your stick figure family in the back of your window. Full stop.
Full stop.
I mean, just like, really? Okay.
I
Wow.
mean, it was just laughing because we were just in the drive-through. We were coming around, like there was like 2 car lengths in front of us. We were almost there, and he just whipped in and like saw us there and just went right in front of us. And I was like, okay, what we were doing, which not to say anybody is more important in a drive-through. What the fuck? Nobody is. We were just getting water to make a bottle for our baby because we were like, oh, we only have hot water. Let's get a bottle of water cold. And so our baby is screaming behind us. And so we were extra pissed off because now we have to listen to our baby scream for even longer, which is our fault. Whatever, we walked out of the house without cold water, but god dang it.
No, you're right. You're right.
I mean, it's very, very important. That coffee and apple pie was not going to eat itself. And he needed those desperately.
Immediately.
Oh man, it was all I could do not to walk out of our Honda Odyssey and stomp over to his open window and be like, what the fuck, man?
What the hell, dude?
What the hell?
But fortunately, our gun laws are such that
Yeah,
there's
we
a
don't wanna
we
do that.
never
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, it's not worth it. No,
Not worth it.
don't take a bullet to be
I
right.
want to take a bullet. I would have been close. We were close to the jail, and we were close to a hospital. I would have been fine.
Either way. Either one. Well, so what about good feelings? What's your good feelings?
Okay. So my good
Your Hugo.
feelings, my Huga is that I am going into the office to work. I get that working from home is good for some people. It ain't good for me. I hate it. It sucks. I want to see other people's faces, even if they're covered by a mask. I got my KN95 on. I wear it all day. It's no big deal.
Right.
You know, I'm also kind of empty on campus, the parts that I am on anyway, because it's mostly, you know, research labs.
Mhm.
But my federal lab is still closed and will not open for whoever knows, because, you know, who knows?
Right.
Honestly, quite frankly, who knows? But like, I just couldn't take it anymore. I don't get any work done at home. I hate it, really hate it. And I've gotten the most work done out of the entire pandemic this last week, and I worked technically less hours,
Yeah.
but I got more work done because I was in a fucking office. I had to drive. A commute sucks, whatever. It actually isn't that bad because you know what? I got to listen to my fun podcasts. I got to
Mhm.
listen to some audiobooks. I got my me time just in my car. I got my built-in exercise from walking from my parked car to my office. Otherwise, I would just been sitting in the same damn spot,
Yeah.
eating Cheetos, looking at my model output, going, I wonder why this doesn't work. Instead, I got to look at my office mate and be like, hey, you do this stuff. Why doesn't this work? And he's like, oh, this reason. And I'm like, thank you. This would have taken me 2 weeks to figure out.
Right.
People like me need an office. I hate this COVID shit. Anyway, I'm going in. I don't care anymore. I'm vaccinated. Even if I still get sick, I don't care. I get a breakthrough. I don't care. I'll be fine.
I'm going to the office.
I'm going to the office. I'm getting so much work done. I'm young. I got the KN95. I'm vaccinated. I don't know what else to do.
You're
I'm going
fine.
into work.
You'll be fine.
So I'm happy. I'm just happy to be in work.
Well, that's
Seeing
good.
people's faces. Ugh.
Yeah. So for those of us, because I don't think Kevin ever left work, who never left work. This whole thing is people like, oh, it's such a change. I'm like, not for us. I got 1 month off, and then after that, I've been at work every day.
No,
I
we
get
didn't even get
They
that.
won't let us. They wouldn't let us come
I
back.
know,
They
I
kicked
know.
us out.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back at work.
I mean, some people do. It is better for them mentally to be at home. I
Sure.
get it. I just think you know, I am
You should be able to choose.
pro-choice,
Mhm.
pro-choice in most things, including, you know, woman's right to choose, and you know,
a
people's
woman's right to
choose to
choose
where they're gonna
where
where they
gonna
gonna work, where she's gonna work.
Exactly.
And for me, that's in an office with other people.
Take that, Taliban.
What? Take my no. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, we'll just move on. Just move on.
Just move on. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
All right, Kevin, what's your good feeling?
I had the supreme great feeling of being able to shut someone's conspiracy theory down before they started, which was someone, I was at work and someone just comes up to me out of nowhere and goes, what do you think about the Nuremberg codes? And I'm like, just looked her dead in the eye and was like, anytime anybody brings up stuff with the Nazis, you're probably on the wrong side of things. And
What
then
are
just
the
walked away.
Nuremberg codes? I don't understand. I don't even know. I mean, I'm sure they have something to do with the Nuremberg trials.
Yeah, they are a series. It's a new COVID conspiracy, anti-vaccine conspiracy. That basically they were a set of 10 things that you had to put into place when you were doing research on human beings, so that you couldn't disguise research as human beings or disguise war crimes as research on human beings. To be like, yeah, we were doing research on these people. We wanted to see how many bullets they could hold. Like they had to like codify this stuff, and so they did. And so now these COVID guys are like, well, look at all these things. They said that you're not supposed to like test on people without their consent and all this other stuff. I'm like, we're not doing any of that. But when you get down to like, you know, when you start like bringing up the Nazis in relationship to like what you're arguing, you always lose.
It's true.
Always lose.
It's a law, isn't it? It's like
I know there's
an internet law.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it,
It's not
but
Murphy's
I'm like,
law. What is it?
I don't know, but it's
I know
but
what
it's
you're talking
something
about.
like that. Yeah.
When you,
And
when,
it's
yeah.
it just
When
but
you
I'm
mention
just
the
like-
Nazis, you automatically lose the argument.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like but the Nuremberg codes, and I'm like, and she did not call them the Nuremberg, she called them like the Newberg codes, and I'm like, is this about lobsters?
Oh, clearly not a brain trust.
Yeah,
Also, it's a vaccine. It's not like
they're not testing. They're not injecting dye into the eyes of
have
the
you
twins.
ever consumed a honey bun? from a vending machine, a vaccine is the least of your concerns. Having a vaccine injected into you will do nowhere near the percentage of damage that just eating one vending machine honey bun or even better, big Texas roll. You're fucked already. Like,
What is-
take every
what did I-
vaccine you can get.
What did I see on Facebook? Some mom posted like, well, that homeopathic supplement isn't fully FDA approved either.
Karen, exactly. Have you ever tried a detox and or a diet tea?
Yeah.
Then no vaccine will ever harm you. You've done
That's
more
true.
harm to your body putting that weird silicate shit in it than anything that a doctor has ever injected into you. So
Yeah. It was just great. Just to be like, I really know. I just, I think this is going to go down a bad rabbit hole.
it's like, I have a rule at work. I don't talk about religion, politics, or the Nazis ever. Okay. See you later. I'm gonna head on over
Yeah.
to the break room.
I'm gonna eat my honey bun.
It's
Well, it was just-
it was just honey bun and drink some coffee.
Yeah, just such an odd thing to like bring up. Like, I'm like, also, you don't have a right to work. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
it just was just like,
Not in this state.
yeah.
Called at will. It works both ways.
It does.
And then
You can leave at any time, and also you can leave at any time.
Mhm.
They can
but
fire you.
if you had a right to work, that would be socialist. So don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that. No right to work here.
What's your good thing, Kels?
So my good thing, we've talked a lot of junk about him tonight because he's fun to make fun of because he's a good sport. But I just have to say that Roger, sometimes co-host of this podcast, is an incredibly generous friend. He made a very large donation to the Extra Life thing, and he didn't even. There was a rule that if you gave a certain amount of money or above, you got to kill off one of the characters. You could kill off a character of your choice. And he didn't watch the stream, so he just donated because I sent him the link. I was like, donate to this, and he did. But he could have afforded to have killed me off. So when he was like, when I told him and let him know that, he was like, because I didn't know he had done it yet. And then Alinzia read off the names, and she's like, I won't say, I can't say anything, but she said a first name, and I was like, that's his real first name, which is a name that most people don't know. And then I was like, does the last name start with this initial? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, oh, okay, that was Roger. It's like, he would have probably tried to kill me off. And he would have earned it. But no, he is incredibly generous. He gives, like with other projects that we do, I can literally just especially with money. Like money, he'll just give I'll be like, you buy this now. And he'll be like, okay. Or like he'll like send me his credit card and be like, you figure it out. But he's always, whenever we go out with groups of people, he's buying people drinks, he's paying for people's stuff. Like he'd give you the shirt off his back. And I just, him making that big donation today to the Children's Hospital. I mean, it's a good thing to do anyway, but I was really impressed. So that's my good feeling. Roger, you done good.
You did good.
Even though you're wrong a lot. I mean, like
So wrong.
surprisingly so.
Oh my goodness.
You're still very
Stunningly.
generous.
Yeah. You can be wrong and nice.
And generous. So thank you.
Yeah.
I can't wait till 3 weeks from now when he's like, I still haven't listened to that episode before the one I recorded. And he'll go listen to it and be like, damn it.
He'd be like, what? You said a good thing about me.
What? And be like, oh, but it was hidden with bad things.
It was hidden. It was hidden under all of these talking shit.
Nothing's
like
for
it.
free, Hugo Boss.
Nothing's for free, Hugo Barnes. I love. Oh man, favorite line. One of
I know.
the top tens.
And I always forget Hugo Buns approved, and then you bring it up, you're like, that's not HBA. And I'm like, Hugo Buns approved.
Hugo Barnes approved. R.I.P. Hugo Barnes.
R.I.P..
We know you're looking down at us from heaven.
One star. This podcast is just a bunch of in jokes. I don't know who Hugo Buns is. Is that a type of honey bun?
He was my
I don't
type of honey
understand.
bun. He's my little cinnamon roll. If you listen to this show and you don't know who Hugo Buns is, you are not a fan of mine. Hugo Buns is the best cat that ever lived, ever. And yeah, that's it. He died
And
in
I agree.
2017.
I agree. He was a great cat.
He's the best
Loved
cat
him.
ever. My other
Best
cats
cat
are like,
ever.
what the fuck? It's the truth. He was the best. You guys are great, but he was the best. Um,
So
so-
now they're your cats now are in cahoots with the roaches. So like you better watch it out.
they are in cahoots for sure. You're just in cahoots. They don't even know with whom. They're just in a constant state of cahoots. Um, so anyway, you're not doing nothing. You got no podcast to promote?
Okay, so I do have one thing.
Okay, do it.
I
Promote it.
have a Substack.
Oh right.
The first newsletter should come out this Monday. So every Monday, I know it's the same as this podcast comes out on Mondays. So if you're listening to this, there should be a newsletter out at sci-fi-mom.substack.com. You can subscribe there. It's Sci-Fi Mom because I like science, because I'm a scientist. I like fiction because I read a lot and consume a lot of fiction. I also like the genre of sci-fi. And I'm a mom, but it's mostly about science and pop culture stuff. So yeah,
It's pretty exciting. If you send me a link to it, I'll put it in the show notes.
definitely.
So people can
Yeah.
click on it. I mean, I know you just said it, but I of course have forgotten it.
Oh no, it's easier to click on things.
Yes.
And if you're driving, you don't want to be like, "Hey Siri, tell me."
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
the show notes are good. I will send you a link, and if you go to the Discord, I will also be promoting it there, hopefully. So,
Yes, under the Promocho stuff, which
promotion
is open to the public.
stuff. Mhm.
Also, yeah, we got a public Discord, and I've never posted the link to it, and I say I'm going to every time, and I just don't. I don't think I'm going to now. I think you should.
We don't want this riffraff around. You
Look,
have
for
to- you
$3
pay some money.
For $3 a month. You could have access to all of it. You don't get access to the video, but you do get access to all of the Discord.
Mhm.
And my weekly recaps of What If.
And
What?
a book club, just
Oh,
you know.
right. Well, there's the book club with a bunch of
there's the
books.
book club.
They ain't got no kissing in them. So
No kissing, but there is me and Roger arguing probably about it. I
Yeah.
anticipate arguments. That
yeah,
could be fun.
and Steph's gonna get
And
up
Steph,
in there.
yeah,
Steph's gonna get up in there.
we got it.
She was in the Twitch stream today.
Oh.
It was awesome. So if you want to follow any of these links, they're going to be in the show notes. All the past episodes will also be there. That's at matinghabitsofthemoderngeek.com. You can send me an email to moderngeekcast@gmail.com. Follow me at Mating Habits or at Kelly Disagrees, and you can join the Patreon for several different tiers of delightful goodness, but it's starting at the $3 tier and ending at whatever your heart's desire above $10. At patreon.com/matinghabits. Do you want to give a Twitter handle?
No, I'm not really on Twitter anymore. Fuck that place.
I'm on Twitter all the
I've
time.
done.
I got off Facebook. So
Uh-huh.
I don't have Twitter.
yeah,
Oh.
I got off Facebook because every single person I meet in the court system wants to be my friend on Facebook, which I think is sweet and adorable, and I accept all of them, which means I can never speak there again.
Right, you're right.
They can
You're
never
right.
know. But anyway, well, thanks you guys. Kevin, it's so good to see you again. Have the business back on the podcast.
Yay! Nobody can see me touching your face except for the video
The
Patreon
Patreon.
people.
The Patreon.
Oh no, Kevin!
Oh no, his headset
he,
fell. It's
he,
like,
he can't hear you, Kelly. He can't hear you say things.
Podcast got better. Oh, it's so good. This is
Well,
the
on
best
that
kind of
note-
podcast.
All right, well, we'll see everybody later. Bye.
Bye. See ya.